Hey everybody, I'm Alistair, your host, The Modern Modernist. I often get asked, why am I so into mid-mods? It's two parts. I used to be, for 12 years, a photographer, mostly shot fashion, and in LA once, I did a shoot in a mid-mod house. I believe it was a Neutra. It was very early on, and I just thought it was the coolest house ever. Second, and this goes back to my childhood, is a cousin on my dad's side and her husband, so Ray and Avril, just growing up, they lived just outside of London. And when growing up in England, we lived in the Midlands, but we'd always drive down to London and see my dad's side of the family. And they lived in essentially what we would call a townhouse here in America. And it was 2 stories, but it had an angled roof. So it basically made 3 stories height-wise, gave you like a loft ceiling, and had a staircase that went up the side wall to the 2nd story. And that was like a floating staircase. So you just have basically what looked like planks coming out of the wall and a handrail. And it just floated. And to a kid, that just looked like amazing. And there was a loft area up there. And that's where when we would go visit them, that's where we'd always be hosted. That's where we'd sit. And it was this all paneled wall, and it had a built-in bookcase. Her husband, Ray, so Ray Tolliday, feel free to Google him. He was an amazing character, and he used to tell the best stories. All true. He would tell me was he was roommate to Keith Moon when Keith Moon was at his height. So they were absolutely crazy events. And second was he was a writer for Rolling Stone magazine, and there was another magazine in the 60s that he used to write for. But anyway, he acted as the manager for the Beach Boys when they came to the UK to tour in the late 60s, early 70s. And they gifted him, as a thank you, a Ford Mustang, which at the time, Ford Mustangs, they had just come out sort of thing, in the 60s. Super hard to get, not that easy to find. And so they gifted him one, but they forgot to ask him one very important question. Did he have a driver's license? And that answer was, till the day Ray died, he never learned to drive. So I think they gave him the car in the morning, early lunch, before lunch. And so basically he told me he spent the rest of his day, instead of working or writing articles, which he had a passion for, trying to find someone to buy the car, because it was just parked on the street in London outside of his office. And he did, he found a buyer, and it was sold before he went home that day. But but there's just a couple of stories he used to tell me when I was growing up as a kid, and I just found them fascinating. I thought it was just the coolest thing, especially sitting in their home, which was a mid-mod. And why am I doing that story here in front of a monstera? Because that's my favorite plant. Because they had a monstera that they planted on the ground floor. And